Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and a brand new video on Marvel Contest of Champions. Yeah, it's this thing again. This has been racking my brains for the last few days with regards to the introduction of certain champions, or a certain champion, which just confuses the living crap out of me. If that could be confused out of one's person, then yes, it would confuse that out of me. Because I'm looking at it with a bit of unsure, and I think a lot of people are confused about what is going on with the structure of certain champions with regards to introductions in this here. Like, I looked at it and thought, right, so we've got Hela. Obviously this has been updated, and in any case, as you can see, all the champions are listed in there, bar one, which obviously will cut, you know, is one of the focus points of the video. So obviously Hela has been put in. Shame it's not Hemdale. I did get that wrong, but hey, you know, you could have had two choices there, either A or B. I'm a bit disappointed, as I said, but she seems cool. She's pretty unique in some aspects, but it does copycat a little bit with the indestructible with Mr. Luke Cage. But hey, you can't have everything unless you're indestructible, like she is. Right. So the issue, yes, it's Thor. Little Thor's up there. And I'm going to leave him there for a little while, whilst we just kind of dissect what's really going on. So, when we thought we were getting a Gladiator Hulk into the Thor Ragnarok event, that seemed to fit everything like a Speedo. As we can see in that gap there between Green Goblin and Ghost Rider, a nice Gladiator Hulk would fit in quite nicely. Yes, it would be a case that we would have a lot more Hulks than normal, but that's not the end of the world. Standard Hulk is pretty good, and they could just capitalize on having a better Hulk, which means that Joe Fixit and a kind of an average Red Hulk compared with a really good Green Hulk now and a Gladiator Hulk added on would be just pretty darn good. Especially if they made it a little bit looking like the film, I could definitely go in for that. Especially with the armor on, that would be so cool. But instead, we were given Thor Ragnarok. And the naming side of things is the issue at the moment. Now, obviously, I can confirm that he indeed is called Thor Ragnarok, which is the thing that causes the issue. And this is a still taken from Trin and Jordan's channel. I do like these guys, a cute couple within Marvel Contest of Champions, and do go check them out, Trin and Jordan. So the naming side of things is the issue, because it changes the way that the placements, and it's then frustrating. So if I grab this little Thor Ragnarok and I then bring him down, I then just make him a little bit smaller, and then what I do is I then plonk him in the kind of point where we go, there's Thor, and then what do we do? There? Or do we go there? So what the heck is up with there? Like, what does this really mean? Like, is this tool that Marvel Contest of Champions Kabam put together and said, hey, you know, we've got some new characters coming in, we're gonna just, these question marks don't make a lick of sense unless this is meant to be called Gladiator Thor, and he's meant to be there, so therefore he's meant to be called Gladiator Thor, not Thor Ragnarok. Unless they had an idea to call him that to begin with, then thought, no, we're going to change Gladiator Thor to Thor Ragnarok, therefore putting him down here. So what was the point? What was the real point behind this? Or is this champion a kind of a red herring, and he was meant to be in there, and there's two champions for December are still coming? This is the big question mark that we need to then kind of dissect. So on the GLA standings, there's not really much to kind of point out. There's Gladrix, and one thing we really need to know about is notability, because I think Kabam will try and put something more notable in, especially if we're looking for two champions. Maybe they're kind of looking at some kind of connection. I think that's will be the next thing. There's people who have still said that the last champion you put in will potentially be MODOK, and that is all well and good, but it's so hard to pinpoint what they're actually doing, especially if that kind of a list of champions for 2017 is actually correct, because it does seem that this Thor Ragnarok, if it is correct, he should actually be called Gladiator Thor. So I'm just so confused with what they're actually doing. And looking through the list, there again is nothing that really kind of stands out so extensively that you go, right, that's definitely going to be a good fit to go in. That's well known. So yeah, again, very, very confusing times are ahead. One far out, you know, sort of out there idea is that it could be another Ghost Rider, if it is a case that the lettering is sorted out with the Gladiator Thor thing. But, you know, it could be a case that, because we've got Johnny Blaze, we've got Danny Ketch, we've even got Alexandra Jones, and we've also got Robbie Reyes. So there's different kind of Ghost Riders to pick if there was a new Ghost Rider going in. I'm kind of thinking whether or not it's going to overlap or go quite well with the other character, which obviously, like we said, the MO could be MODOK, and that seems to be the champion that Gabriel was kind of hinting at. It seems fairly likely. There seems to be a lot of kind of like rumors that seem to be circulating with that. So it could be a case that MODOK will be there. But let's have a look at the MOs and then see if we can make some kind of comparisons. If that Gladiator or GL can be changed, or maybe it's going to be a GHO. Who knows? Now, you already know my hopes, and that is that it could be Mr. Sinister, but fairly likely that we're going to have to wait next year, maybe even a year after, to see a champion of that caliber within the X-Men universe, and even an X-Men based event next year in general. One cool little link to it potentially being MODOK is that in like a comic book kind of aspect, there's a little note here on the wiki page for MODOK that says, during the Fall of the Hulk storyline, it was revealed that MODOK is a member of the Intelligentsia who had a part in the creation of Red Hulk and Red She-Hulk. They captured some of the smartest men and brought about the events that would lead up to World War Hulk storyline. And that would be something that would be really cool in game if they could do that. Like I said, it's fairly unlikely that would be a link that kind of link, that GLA, that Gladiator Hulk, which now is a Gladiator Thor, but it's not. If it was a Gladiator Hulk, then they could make a really cool December MODOK and a kind of World War Hulk thing. That would be incredibly cool, but like I said, fairly unlikely. So I continued on my reading and I found this little sentence that says, MODOK's ambitions grow and he seeks world domination, but is thwarted by Iron Man and a superhero team, the Champions. And the link that's quite cool is that on the Champions page, there's this kind of like a bit about like so many different champions within there. There's Angel, Black Widow, Dark Star, Ghost Rider, Hercules, and Iceman, which I think is quite cool. A lot of those champions are actually in the game already, but the main thing is that Ghost Rider, and this particular Ghost Rider looks a bit different, and it's difficult to pinpoint which Ghost Rider is, whether or not it's Johnny Blaze or a different type of Ghost Rider. It looks more likely to be Johnny Blaze, but there's no reason to say that Kabam won't use that different idea if it's a case that, again, that Gladiator Thor isn't actually the right fit and we instead are getting another GLA character. And as we've said in previous videos, there's not really any great substantial character in the spectrum of the kind of the MIS, MOs. It just seems to be Mr. Sinister and MODOK being the kind of main. So unless Kabam have an idea that they're going to make up a new character that's going to fit into that scheme, or maybe this is kind of like, again, these question marks mean absolutely nothing. It's very difficult to pin it down to one definite champion that it's meant to be. So the final thing is, what is everybody's thoughts on this? Like, what is the point, the question marks? Are they actually correct against certain information? Is Thor Ragnarok just a random inclusion to this list, so it really should factor in and being popped in there? Or is this Thor meant to be Gladiator Thor rather than Thor Ragnarok and be placed here? But I wonder if Kabam have actually kind of thought about that with regards to putting this out. And the thing is, should they really have put this out if they're going to definitely tie themselves to what they're going to do and what they're going to release? Because it just seems that if this is not meant to be there, then there has been a little bit of a kind of a cock up their side, where they've decided to kind of go, right, well, someone was even meant to name it, we've instead changed the desired champion to go in there, which would have been nice to either put a Gladiator Thor in there and then create something with regards to MODOK influencing something of a World War Hulk, or being the catalyst for a World War Hulk type event for December, because that would be pretty cool, especially to kind of go on from doing a Thor Ragnarok movie and event, kind of branching off from there, because it builds a little bit of a kind of a story, and we've got this great tapestry, which again is something that I've criticized Kabam on several times with regards to the story aspect of things, like where stories actually go. And there has been some great stuff they have done with stories, but it's still lacking on that kind of structure with it. And I appreciate, I know they know where they're going, but it would be nice to then kind of weave a decent story around what they're doing as well. So this is the big arguing point, like what is definitely going in this slot here, and what is going on with this slot here. Is this a case that this slot with Thor Ragnarok is actually meant to be here, and we're meant to have another slot, and then up here is meant to be something else in particular? Is it a new Ghost Rider? Who knows? It doesn't really, I don't think it really ties in to do anything like Ghost Rider Robbie Reyes or Ketch or the other one Jonas. It's just, I don't think it really kind of fits in. It'd be a bit odd to be quite soon to add in another Ghost Rider, you know, next couple of years to put one in, or maybe next year or the year after. But never say never, and it would be quite cool. A lot of people have said that they'd like the other Ghost Riders as well, so that would be quite nice. But the thoughts are over to you, and your thoughts in the comments below. But who you think? Is it a case that Thor Ragnarok is correct? Should it be named Gladiator Thor in order to fit into that slot there? And what is the general thought around this random, this little random, it's just here, it's just so randomly there. What is it going to be? Is it going to be MODOK, which a lot of the community do think it is? Do you think it's going to be Mr. Sinister? Or do you think it's going to be a lesser known character in Marvel? Answers on a postcard and in the comments below. Anyway, I've been RichTheMan. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more Marvel Contest of Champions based content, follow me on social media, link is in the description below, and as always, I shall catch you on the flip side. Bye bye for now.